Today we had the first day of joint practice between the Lions and the Giants. The Lions coming down to New Jersey, Giants hosting a joint practice. And as you know, last year we had a joint practice with them, and the Giants really got shell shocked. We had high expectations for the Giants, and the Lions kind of made a mess out of them, completely dominated them, and you saw that carry into the regular season. The Giants were kind of soft, the Lions being one of the best teams in the NFL. Now, today was one of the most intense practices that they're saying that they've seen from the Giants since 2013, which 2013 is more than 10 years ago. So to talk about, potentially the most intense practice since that day is crazy. But you see the intensity in the clips. When you look at the couple fights that they had, and yes, fights are a little overrated, but the chippiness is what you want. You want the team to literally fight against their opponent, whoever it is, and also, just make sure that they're showing their grit and showing their toughness, and not showing that, hey, you can punch us in the mouth and do whatever you want. Because last year, that's what the Giants' identity was. They got punched in the mouth against Dallas. They got punched in the mouth against the Lions last year in training camp. This year, they weren't having it, and they were going head to head with the Lions. Every single rep. I loved what I saw out of the certain clips that were there. Once again, if you were at that practice, go ahead and let us know down in the comments, man, how you felt about it overall. I know a lot of you guys probably were trying to make it out there. I live in Florida, so I can't. But from the clips that I saw, man, I loved when I seen out of Malik Neighbors. Obviously, Malik Neighbors, was doing a whole ton of highlights against ourselves, but it's good to see them do it against the Lions, against an opposing team, and seeing Daniel Jones also air the ball out as well. You saw deep passes and 7-on-7s. And once again, the Giants were kind of not doing 7-on-7s when it came to their own practices. So when it came to the Lions, they had a couple reps with those. And once again, Daniel Jones looked sharp, airing the ball out to Malik Neighbors, Jalen Hyatt. You saw Wandale on a couple short passes. You saw Darius Slayton getting open. All the guys were getting involved. And, it is practice. Temper your expectations or enhance them. Daniel Jones looked good today. He did. Not only when it came to that side of it, but even a couple of the fights. Daniel Jones is out here starting fights, pushing guys off of his guys. And listen, the intensity is what you want to see with this team, because once again, that's what we lacked. I felt like last year, we got literally handled however they wanted to and never really stood up to it at all. So seeing this in training camp, I hope it really carries on. You didn't see it last year, so hopefully this is a good sign. And as we know, the team is not as talented as last year's team in terms of certain positions, losing a couple of players, the players that we lost. But you like to see the chippiness that we saw today. You love to see it. Defensive line, Dexter Lawrence was out there dominating in one-on-one drills and also in certain team drills. Brian Burns, I'm hearing a lot of good things about Brian Burns, seeing a couple, would-be tackle for losses and other things that are taking place. Kayvon Thibodeau, you didn't hear too much, but once again, you saw other guys like Jordan Riley, potentially a guy that not for sure going to make this team, but you hope he's going to make this team and could possibly be another D tackle alongside Dexter Lawrence. Nacho making a couple plays. These are the type of things that you want to see, especially going into a joint practice with an opposing team. It's good for them to do it against each other, but to do it against an opposing team is what you want to see. And obviously, we do take on the Lions in the first preseason game of the year, which is crazy. Football is here, guys. Football is here. Thursday, we're playing the Lions in the preseason game. Are the starters going to play? I don't think they're going to start their starters, but we'll see. Overall, you want to see some guys that, show that chippiness, show that edge, and try to make this roster. Other guys that you should be looking to watch. Eric Gray, he got his helmet popped off today. So you don't love to see that. But once again, Eric Gray is a guy that's potentially fighting to be on this roster. You're going to love to see what he got to do on Thursday and see if he can really, live up to his name. Other guys like Bryce Ford Wheaton coming off that torn ACL. We had high expectations from him last year. He was one of the, players that we looked forward to last year. We got to see what he can do and see if he can perform in this preseason game. You didn't hear too much about him today at the training camp overall, but once again, I just love what I saw from our starters. Overall, cornerback still remains to be an issue. Cordell Flott, nothing good coming out about Cordell Flott. And that's been that way all training camp so far, and it still remains the same. Jameson Williams kind of burnt him on a couple touchdowns, or 1 or 2 touchdowns, I believe. So Cordell Flott, really nothing to hang your hat on. But Andrew Phillips, he didn't make too many plays, but he was in the middle of every scrum today, and people are talking about. And Andrew Phillips has put together a decent camp, I feel like. I've seen a couple deflections, an interception, and one-on-ones. I saw Andrew Phillips, showing his stuff. And once again, he is a third-round pick this past draft. A lot of people weren't on Andrew Phillips' board. They didn't like him. So we'll see what Andrew Phillips continue to do. I think he's going to be the starting nickelback for sure. And so far, he's been rolling with the ones. So We'll see if Andrew Phillips continues to take off. But once again, man, when you see what you see out of the guys that you really want to hone in on, Daniel Jones, Malik Neighbors, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Bobby Okereke had a pick on 7-on-7s against Jared Goff. These are the type of things you want to see. And hopefully the depth continues to roll out. You see Andrew Thomas, out here knocking dudes out. If you're a cornerback on the perimeter and you see Andrew Thomas pulling, I'm just getting out of the way. Their first round pick, their cornerback did get, a little banged up and had to leave with the trainers. Not wishing anything against him, but Andrew Thomas is a monster and he's going to continue to be that way. It is so important for him to be healthy for this team because this team will perform a lot better with our best player. I'm going to say it. Our top 2 player on this team is between Dexter and Andrew Thomas. And Andrew Thomas could potentially be a top 3 left tackle in this league. I'm just trying to keep my bias out of it. But Andrew Thomas looks good and hopefully continues to stand up as well. Overall, man, once again, first joint practice in the books with the Lions. They do go back at it tomorrow. Are they going to go full pads? I'm not too sure with how intense it was today and with all the fights that broke out today. Are they going to go full pads? I'm sure they're going to temper it down a little bit. But once again, we got our eyes peeled on what the Giants are doing in training camp. They're super intense, and you see it from all these different reporters talking about, one of the more intense practices that you've seen in a long time. Hopefully, the Giants are back. That's what we hope. We hope the Giants are a little bit back into what their groove is because we know that first year Brian Daboll was here, the team wasn't all that talented, but they were gritty and they won games. So you would only hope, hey, we might not be all the talented in the world, but hopefully you continue to see that team trend that way and win some games that they shouldn't. I could definitely still see this team winning some games that they shouldn't, some games that they're not favored in. With the toughness that they're exhibiting right now, that's what you want to see, and hopefully they continue to do that. Theo Johnson is going to be an important role as well. Stay tuned on our Theo Johnson video. And Daniel Jones, keep the beard. Don't shave it. Daniel Jones in these training camp clips for the past couple years, every time he has his beard, he just looks better. Don't take that anyway. Daniel Jones looks better with the beard. And also, I don't know, he might play better. That might just me be reaching. A lot of people on Twitter talking about it as well. Daniel Jones, keep the beard. Nevertheless, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, how you feel about this team overall. Most intense practice since 2013. Hopefully we go back to 2011. Let's see. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.